Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Phil, and I wanted to make a couple videos detailing the tournament I went to yesterday. Uh, we played um, Armory, Supplies, and finally Looting and Sabotaging, and I brought Combined Army. So let's get into it. So our first thing I want to talk about is one of the lists I brought, which is this list that I've discussed a bit in the IGL Discord with an Australian. His Discord handle is Nice Things. I don't know if they go by anything else, but I edited it a little. So what I've done to edit it is add in chain of command, the vector Spitfire, and I have lost a Q drone. So as you can see, that this list really doesn't have any real ARO presence. Um, I understood that it could be a little hard if someone has a strong tool for punishing um, null deployment, mostly via pitchers, because between the three Dotarazi, the two Taigas, the Liberto, we have very strong corner guards. We have good reactive dodging when someone gets close to our deployment zone because, Norkius, the Umbra, the Taigas, like I said, all of these things dodging into CC really hurts. They all have templates, so I'm pretty confident in my null deploy. Uh, the day before the tournament, I did go into the Discord and ask, does anyone, have any feedback on how to change the groups? I got a little bit of feedback, such as maybe moving one of the Umbra into group two. I got some changes to the list actually, but I didn't really want to change the list at all. I was just asking about groups. In the end, I decided not to change the groups at all, and that is because I kind of, let's say I were to go first, which I never do in the tournament with this list, but if I had, you know, Bit, if the opponent null deploys, Bit can move up and put some pitchers down, and then if I want to move up, let's say Norkius or the Umbra, I get the 6-inch move hack, 6-inch move hack. So it's not just running up without doing any damage. And say they haven't null deployed, and I can get some smoke down to open the way for either Norkius or the Umbra, then uh, I can smoke their AROs and move up. And then, of course, kind of worst case for me is if they leave up a lot of good AROs, Sheskin's going to really have to deal with that. If the opponent, were to have something like a tag on ARO or something like that, I think I'd be in a lot of trouble. Um, and I forget if I mentioned it, but again, with the null deploy, big help here, great reserve drop. I have the Liberto. So that is my list for game one, the Armory. I think it's a very strong Armory list. We have a lot of potential of things to put into the Armory, and that's the list. My opponent's list, he was playing Starmada. So his list, you can see you have a very basic defensive link in group one here, three regular Kappas, a Kappa paramedic, and a beta trooper. One of these Kappas was his lieutenant. Um, then, sorry, we have the beta trooper Harris. Now, this is a very expensive but powerful Harris. They have mimetism, the two beta troopers. You've got a killer hacking device with that Timbot firewall, so that's very hard to hack into or to hack against. And the Secudroid is pure with them, so it makes them better at discovering. This Nightshade, fooled me a little in the game. I thought that its mine was a Sharko, um, but it did go down in an unfortunate manner. Then we just have a Fuzzbot for an easy order. We have a Varangian. I do like the choice to bring the Trench Hammer. I think the 1 point to make your Berserk that much scarier is worth it. Roadbot Paramedic, Roadbots are amazing. Flash Pulse Bot, the Crusher with the light rocket launcher, definitely an interesting choice, and the very powerful Cyber Ghost. So with that, let's get into the game. So my opponent won the lieutenant role and decided to pick deployment. He picked this side. I think it is slightly stronger um, deployment zone, but all in all, they're relatively equal. Initially, I actually said, okay, I'll go first, and then hesitated after a while. I think my opponent even said, "Oh, so you're going first, right?" And I thought, you know what? Now that you mention it, I'm going to go second. So I double handicapped myself. But let's go through his deployment first. So you have his Kappa link, defensive link here, and here is the missile launcher. Down below them, you have the Beta Trooper Harris. So that's again a Spitfire hacker, and then this is the Secudroid. We have the Cyber Ghost. This is the Varangian, Roadbot, the Flash Pulse, the Crusher, and the Fuzzbot. And again, I did think, oh, there's a Sharko. But in fact, it is a mine, and the actual Nightshade is right about there. So that's my opponent's deployment. And then if we go on to my deployment, so like I said when I was discussing the list, really a null deploy kind of list. I don't really want too many AROs. But when I was looking at when I was making my deployment, I believe this is him dropping his reserve road bot. I knew that there's probably a road bot coming, so I really wanted to have a good spread of repeaters so that the road bot couldn't just run in. I'd say that this side is my weakest side, but we have an Icodron repeater, something like that. We have an R-drone there repeater, something like that. We have bit repeater there, and we have this R-drones repeater here. So a pretty good laydown of repeaters, but let's just go through the deployment real quick. So we have Sheskin here. I believe there's a Dadarazai over here hiding behind this little console here, prone. An Icodron. This is my Vector Spitfire. We have a Taiga here. Kiss is standing. Bit here. Umbra Samaritan Hacker here. Another Dadarazai here. Taiga here. A R-drone here. Dadarazai, Norkius prone up here, and here is my Caliban. And so you haven't seen my reserve. Like I said, opponent drops that Roadbot as a reserve. And sorry, went too far. In this picture, you can see here my reserve drop as the mine. So let's get into turn one. So turn one, and I do need to come out and state here, we made a mistake in the rules playing this mission. We forgot you needed to open the armory doors. So, yep, that happened. So turn one, opponent impetuouses with the Varangian, you know, it's kind of straightforward, and he ends up moving him into the room. So that's what he does with that. And I deduct from group one. Group one is something like all of these 8 models, maybe the Fuzzbot. And I know, and he said, you know, something's missing because the other 5 is like the Cyber Ghost, the Varangian, the Crusher, Roadbot, Flash Pulse. So with group 2, Varangian moves into the room, and then he starts what's going to be his attack run. So he moves up with his beta troopers this way. I don't think there's too much fighting here. He may put down this R-drone with the Spitfire, but he really wants to move up to here. And so then we can go into the next screen to show how his turn ends. Okay, so now he's moved his beta troopers up here, maybe fought that flash pulse, I don't recall. And he fights here. So he fights here once with the Spitfire, and I believe he might hit me 2 times. I pang both saves. Then moves more aggressively up with the Spitfire, seeing the Taiga, the R-drone, and the Dadarazai. So he decides to do a 2 on this, 2 on this, and 1 on the Dadarazai. We get a dodge, flash pulse, and smoke to go down here as the ARO. Armor saves happen, so he, I believe, loses to the flash pulse. So that goes through. The hits the Taiga twice. I roll something like a 19 and a 20. And the Dadarazai succeeds in getting smoke down and is smoked over the Ardron. With that, he has his killer hacker now move forward to try and Trinity Norcius. It's something like 316s versus 115. He spends the rest of the orders on his turn trying to Trinity him down. It's something like 3 orders, and he ends up putting 1 wound on Norcius. So I'm looking very pretty for the beginning of my first turn. And the first thing I want to do is deal with this Harris that is kind of all up in my face. So best way I figured to do that is with my Dadarazai. So this Dadarazai down here, if you recall, I have a Dadarazai down there. He actually is free to Impetuous. So he Impetuous is up and gets a smoke down right about here. And here, I think really shows just how gosh darn strong Dadarazai are. So he gets my Dadarazai gets the smoke down, kind of walks into the smoke, dodges out of it, and berserks this Beta Trooper and kills it. He goes down to, a missile, shot here, retaliation here, but more than happy with that. With that Dadarazai down, this Dadarazai moves forward, moves up to here, dodges out, berserks this Beta Trooper, and kills it. Of course, they're unconscious, but no engineers and his paramedics over there. So that's been thoroughly dealt with. Let me go back to my deployment screen so I can more easily show you what happens. With the rest of the orders of my turn, I decide to take the Umbra Samaritan. He comes up into the room. If you recall, there is a Varangian there. So he moves in, he CCs I believe I come in this way actually, and the mine detonates on me. I say, okay, I dodge, breaks my stealth, so the Varangian can dodge too. I don't know if I dodge it or pang. I actually think I might take 1 wound, and I'm not sure, but I'm not dead. Next order, I come around this way to fight the Varangian. I put it into Dogged. He reveals his Nightshade, shooting into CC. Well, it won't be shooting into CC this time, not yet. So he hits me, but I do gain a wound, lose a wound. So I am, healthy there. Still in CC with the Dogged Varangian. I then CC it again. He shoots into CC. I kill the Varangian, gaining a wound. He misses, but his Varangian's already dead. Not a big deal. Now I think I have about 1 order left at this point, something like that. And I'm kind of floating here with the Umbra, staring at the Varangian. If I'm there and the Varangian is there on his active turn, he just absolutely annihilates me. So I think, he literally cannot kill me because I think at this point, I don't know if I have 2 or 3 wounds. I guess if he crits, he could kill me, but the risk I'm willing to take. So I spend an order to move back and hide here and put 2 plasma carbine shots into the Nightshade. I get extremely lucky. One of them goes through and kills the Nightshade. So that's the end of my turn. And here is a picture from the beginning of his turn. We have the Umbra in here. Nightshade has been killed. Varangian has been killed. And both of these Beta Troopers have been dealt with. So what is my opponent going to do at the beginning of his turn? All right, so here we are at this is a little further ahead, but what does he do for his turn? He takes his Cyber Ghost, which was here, and comes and puts a pitcher here to hack the Umbra. He oblivions it, successful, hits oblivioned. He then, moves again. He carbonates it, carbonite successful. I'm completely bricked. Moves again, fights it, fights it, fights it. Eventually kills it, and Cyber Ghost is hanging out here in no man's land. The road bot comes down. It sees Bit. Bit in ARO. I'm a little scared that the road bot's going to come and deal with come into the middle of the board, which I don't want. So in ARO, I shoot a pitcher. He Panzerfausts me. He misses, and he goes along with his day. So he moves now this way. I think he shoots one more pitcher or one more Panzerfaust at me. I attempt to dodge. No wounds are in result of that. And then finally the road bot comes over here. Here's my HVT. And he gets his classified. I think it takes a couple of orders. He fails at least one whip roll. In the meantime, the Dadarazai is kind of dodging around here, but I decide not to reveal it because there's, to reveal it like coming around this side, there isn't enough space here for the Dadarazai to actually go. I don't want to reveal it because there's the Crusher light rocket launcher here, and considering the remote presence and no wound in cap combo of the road bot, the Dadarazai isn't really going to kill it, and I don't think it's worth it to lose my last source of smoke just to be a nuisance. So he's cleared me out of the room, and we have a Cyber Ghost here. So the beginning of my turn, you recall I had a Taiga here. The Taiga does not Impetuous because I'm scared it'll get out too far and die. So I just don't Impetuous anything. Spend in a regular order. I move here with the Taiga, dodge, 4 inches here. Berserk can kill the Cyber Ghost. Taiga dies in response. Then Sheskin, who was here, decides it's her time to move. She comes up and around, and she fights the Crusher here. She does 1 wound to it. He gusses into safety over here. Then I have the nuisance of the road bot, but I decide to cautious move into this smoke that the Dadarazai put down for me. After cautious moving there, she moves this way, puts down the Crusher, comes into the room. I think she grabs 1 armor from the Panoplies. I forgot to mention in his first turn, he had gotten 1 Panoply with his Varangian, so we're now tied on Panoplies. I make a big mistake here because I think, let's move the Caliban in camo here to be an easy threat for the next room. So what I do is I move here, and then I move again, and this is as far as my movement can get me, which means I'm in the open. This missile can see me. Just a terrible place to have your Caliban, frankly. I had the orders to do it, so what I should have done was move here. In my opinion, what I should have done, move here, skip my next order. The missile can't see me yet, and then I would have had to move to be safely here, prone. But you live and you learn, and that is my turn 2. Next, my opponent's feeling the heat. His hit pieces, here's the unconscious Crusher, are in trouble, and he decides to move his whole link across. So something puts Bit unconscious, but he moves his core up here. One of his Kappas dies trying to take out Cheskin, but eventually the combi rifle does take out Cheskin, and he's got these 2 Kappas in the room. So on my turn, all I do is, I believe, throw smoke, re-camo, touch the Caliban into the room, and then I have 3 turns of dominating the room. To his none, but he does have his classified. So that's a solid 6-1 victory for me in the first round. And I forgot to mention, of course, I did use a lieutenant order at some point in the game to put Norcus into impersonation. So that's it for round one. Plan on making videos for the next 2 rounds. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate any and all feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.